What's up, mortgage coach community? Dave Savage. I'm coming live to you out of Laguna Beach today. I'm actually speaking at a sales rally here tomorrow, which I'm pretty pumped about. And one of my goals for 2022 as it pertains to content leadership and the type of value I want to bring to this community is I want to interview more mortgage executives, people that are in the C-suite, that are making decisions around technology and leadership. That's going to be the theme. I don't know if it's going to be leadership and technology or technology and leadership, but I do believe those are two incredibly important things if we want to get it right in the mortgage space. And so to start my first interview, I have Mr. Matt Clarke. He is the COO of Churchill Mortgage. In full disclosure, they're a great client of ours. So he's a customer and he's become a friend. We've done a lot of life together. We've done a lot of business together. So Matt, let's kick things off. If you could just start by, I think there'll be a combination of loan officers and other executives watching this, but if you could just describe Churchill as a platform and as a lender for anyone listening to kick things off.
Well, Dave, thank you for that introduction. And of course, it's my pleasure to have this conversation with you. You've been a trusted advisor, partner, and friend of Churchill's for a long time. And I feel like that's really an important characteristic. One of the things as you talk about what's important in technology, you talk about Churchill as a platform. One of the things that we've recognized years ago is being in search of the best that can be done, not just in search of the best that we know how. The best that can be done requires a healthy dose of humility to invite other people like you and others to speak into not just how we leverage technology, but what do we do as a company? How do we lead people into a future state that's better than where we are and they are now? And so one of the things we try to do at Churchill is truly embrace that. And it's worked out really well. We've been in business 30 years. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary next month, which doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen by being lazy. It doesn't happen by just allowing the industry to do stuff to you. You have to actually work and partner with the industry, with the market, and with others to make that happen over that time. And we've tried to really do that over a long period of time.
Real quick, just give us for size, number of loans.
Volume, we're about a $5 billion. We're about a $5 billion company. We have about 1,000 employees. We've got branches. We're all distributed retail. Nothing is purchased, no wholesale. We've been the only mortgage company to ever advertise with financial radio show host and author Dave Ramsey, who's, in my opinion, I think he's the biggest voice in finance in America. He's a number 2 syndicated radio show host in America of any genre. And we've been working with him for, again, almost 30 years. Where about a third of our business comes from our advertising with Dave. Another 20% comes from managing our database. Managing your database and staying in touch with people is a huge technology strategy. And the rest, the other 50% of that comes from your typical traditional distributed retail.
Got it. So anybody listen to this, you know how I roll, like put questions down below. I'll make sure myself or Matt answer those. Also, hopefully I'm going to be doing multiple interviews with executives, and I can assure you Matt will be one that I'll do multiple interviews with. He is one of our best adoption clients, meaning that they've rolled out Mortgage Coach to all their loan officers, and the majority of them use Mortgage Coach and have a record-breaking number of black belts, which means that those are loan officers that do over 300 loans in Mortgage Coach, 300 TCAs. So let's get to that. I'm going to drill down on this more, but you do a pretty good job of getting adoption of technology. So if there's could be a head of production, could be a head of marketing, just any executive who's part of their job is getting their loan officers to use their platform, use their tools. What are some of the secrets to your success?
We've got a slogan now at Churchill that says, doing what's right for you. Doing what's right for you means the decisions that you make every day need to contemplate your customer. Our customer is a loan officer. And if we make decisions that are self-serving and not helpful to the loan officer to do a better job at bringing value to the families that trust them with advice on their home, financing of their homes, were making wrong decisions around technology. And so part of adoption means bringing in your production teams into the strategic decision-making process on what they think they want to help them serve people better. Mortgage Coach clearly does that. And I can think of a number of times where we saw technology available to us. We went out, we got it, we tried to push adoption down people's throats, and they're like, I don't want this. Yeah, I know those shoes look really nice, but I can't run in them.
Right.
Right. And so you have to have adoption before you make a commitment. In other words, you pre-sell and you bring enough leadership into the fold of saying, yes, we want to be a Mortgage Coach company. Yes, we want to be fill in the blank company. Yes, this is a technology that I believe will help us serve people better. And then you've got the pre-sale done, then you engage, and then you execute with their behalf.
So one thing that I think has really distinguished you guys, just from an execution standpoint, is you rolled out Mortgage Coach, but then you just consistently are sharing success stories from the trenches. You did a great job, like why we're doing it, but it wasn't a 1 month initiative. It wasn't a 1 quarter initiative. It wasn't a 1 year initiative. Could you just speak to your kind of the long tail and how you guys think and operate strategically?
Yeah, it's exhausting. I mean, adoption of any idea is exhausting. You have a percentage of your team. Quite frankly, people in general of anything, when you try to get somebody to exercise, they know it's good for them. There are clear benefits of daily exercise. And yet 5 to 15% of the people will hear that and do it because they know it's good for them. The rest of the people will come up with every reason and every excuse and every thought that they can to not do it, or they just won't do it. It's the same thing with adoption on technology. Even though there's clear argument that it's going to help them become a more professional mortgage originator, some people just won't take the step to get better. They have to choose to get well.
Right.
Right. You have the best people in this industry, the people I see you interview all the time, are the best on the production side. They're the best because they made a choice to be the best. And unfortunately, not everybody is equipped to make that choice. And so as a leader, your call is to evangelize helping people be better. Our responsibility as leaders is to help our teammates and their families live better lives. Part of how we do that is we help elevate them as professionals. Part of how we do that is we show them the things that they can be doing to help elevate their game, show them the things that the best are doing. And it's a constant effort. It's constant. And once you think you've said it enough, you got to do it again.
Yeah, no doubt. So anyone listening to this, and whether you're thinking about rolling out Mortgage Coach or you're trying to get better adoption, or it could be a CRM, a point of sale, it could be any tech that delivers ROI for both the originator and the loan officer. You got to roll it out with a great why. You got to put stories around it. But the most important thing isn't the rollout. The most important thing is the follow-up. And are you sharing success stories a month later, 3 months later? Are you operationalizing it? Which is another thing I think you guys have done a great job. You've got a number of senior leaders within your company where you've distributed the leadership. You've got Kevin Watson, and the names go down, Jim McQuaig, where now you've got like an army of leaders within your company. And then you guys have also been really good that when someone's a black belt or they become a grandmaster, could you talk about how you're using distributed leadership?
Sure.
And not like everybody understands that term as it's like department heads. But one thing I've noticed is you guys have, and I don't know how intentional you are, so tell me, but you've got distributed leadership around initiatives, and you guys have done a great job of that. Is it intentional, or is it just how you guys roll?
Well, it's intentional because at the end of the day, you have to have the humility as a leader to recognize that other people can push your agenda better than you can push your agenda. right? People change behaviors because two things are generally present. One, they know what's in it for them. And two, there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And, in a talk, Dave, you shared with me a couple of weeks ago, the speaker made a statement and it basically said, let the competition talk about how good you are.
Right.
Right. We can get up there and say, I think this and I think that as a leader, but guess what? I'm not originating loans. So I need to find the people who are in the trenches originating loans at a super high level and let them be the evangelists on these ideas. Let them be the ones who share not only what's in it for others, this is what it did for me, and here's proof. Because if we see what's in it for me and we have proof, and that proof is not an opinion, but an experience, then you have more likely to get adoption. And so you got to surround yourself with the right army.
Yeah. And
In
so, by the
anything.
way, anyone listening, that was an interview, a podcast with Coach Greg Carville,
Yep.
who is the head hockey coach for UMass. 5 or 6 years ago, they were the last place D1 hockey team in America, and they won the national championship in 2020 and in 2021 actually. And he was talking about, his goal with his value prop or their key character traits was when their competition would actually use those words in preparation. And I do think that was one of my most powerful takeaways from that interview, as well as I really loved, it's all about character over skill, and our culture will beat your culture. And I do believe we're at a point now where if you're local and you're referral based, so you're a distributed retail, you need to build a culture that will, and you're not just competing with other distributed retailers, you're competing with, the big data national brands. There's never been more public companies that are mortgage companies. I mean, you got some really big, well-funded platforms. And by the way, they have great cultures too. So it's not like, there's a lot of weak players in the mortgage space. You've got, and when I think, tell me if you agree with this, when you look at mortgage companies, we are some of the most sophisticated with technology and how we're driving the engine in all of financial services. Like, I think we got it more going on than just about any other financial service platform out there. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. And this is a danger, quite frankly, because I agree with you completely. What we lack in many areas is cohesion. We've got so much technology that's been developed for the mortgage industry that a couple of things can happen. You could adopt technology to a point of inefficiency and stagnation. Because if those technologies don't work together in such a way that there's a single point of truth underlining that tech, then you have all of these different systems trying to talk to each other that may or may not, or you may or may not be really good at weaving them together in such a way that it creates an actual efficiency versus another technology to use. Nobody wants another piece of technology to use. They want a better process. They want an easier experience. And so while there's so many different technologies out there, and there are so many temptations to chase the next shiny thing, the best technology is the one that people use and deliver a better experience to our customer.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I think one of the things I'm super pumped about with, our new partnership with LLR Partners, and they've made an investment in Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang, which is a big data play. I do think the combination of data and presentation, experience, consumer experience in a way where you're turning sales into service and value, and using data to turn marketing and sales into a valuable service to a consumer. So that's something we're working really hard on that. How are you doing that? How are you leveraging the combination of us, and what are some other things that you're doing, whether it's Mortgage Coach related or not, where you think you're turning technology into a competitive advantage and you're turning it into something that's valuable to the consumer?
So a number of different elements there. Clearly, there are a lot of technologies out there on the fulfillment side that will allow you to leverage automated artificial intelligence and our automation in a way that will remove some of the burden and time of processing data and transactions to allow you to double down your investment in your people to manage risk and relationship. And so one of the themes that we're continuously investing in is migrating our investment in people from data management and transaction management into risk management and relationship management. And there's a number of things on the operational platform that allow us to move in that direction. And it's pretty exciting. The challenge there again is people. People are afraid because they have a job, they've done something the way they've always done it. And now all of a sudden they're faced with the opportunity to upskill and create more value, which makes them in turn more valuable. Not everybody wants to do that. It's back to that same conversation around investing in technology. Only the top percentile is actually going to get it and spend the time to invest in using it to their benefit. Sales Boomerang is a tool that we've been using for a number of years, Dave. So I'm extraordinarily excited about what you're doing in conjunction with them to continue to enhance the predictability of when your database is going to be in a position to refinance. We've been leveraging a number of other kind of data augmentation tools on top of our database as we look at our constant communication and engagement with the scores of people we communicate to digitally every single month. And so there's just a lot of things. What you're doing, though, excites me because when you can combine the predictive analytics with a superior way to present options, it allows your salespeople to do what's a really good salesperson knows how to do, which is to agitate an issue and solve the problem, right? A lot of consumers out there don't know what opportunities are available to them and how to leverage their mortgage as a mechanism to build wealth. By using some predictive tools and a superior way to present and communicate to people, you're able to both agitate an opportunity or a problem and come with a solution at the same time. So they're not interested in chasing a rate or doing something that another mortgage lender or an online lender or somebody else might be apt to offer.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you a couple slides on some of the roadmap, but I'd love to get your impressions on this. So I'm going to just show a couple slides. But one of the things that really attracted me to Sales Boomerang, was the mission. They had this mantra of no borrower left behind, and I think together it's no borrower left behind, no profits left behind. But really building out this leading client for life platform, and I think it's still one of the even when I interview the best of the best loan officers. And can you confirm you can see my screen, by the way?
I can. It looks good.
Yeah, that even the best loan officers in the country don't retain enough of their customers. They're so busy hunting for new customers. And let's face it, they've got this database and they don't know what anybody is doing. But here's the deal, guys. The data is out there. And if you want to be a client for life loan officer, you need to, one, be at the right time, be at the right place at the right time for that consumer. And then not just have an alert saying, hey, call the person, but be able to put a total cost analysis at the right time in the right place where you're leveraging a combination of technology. And then, of course, you're training people. So first of all, my question is, how do you like that roadmap where we're literally like mapping out the life cycle of a consumer, looking for alerts that tell us if that consumer is either thinking of transaction or maybe they should transact, like we know more than they know, and then putting that TCA at the right time in the right place. What are your thoughts?
I think that's a trust enabler. Look, people want to be known. Quite frankly, we all expect that we are known by companies soliciting business from us. I mean, Amazon's the obvious example of a company that has done that extraordinarily well. They know my buying behaviors. They know what I want. They know what I've bought. They know when I'm ready to buy it again. And they're constant. When I go on to my Amazon app, they know me. They know everything about my consumer behavior. People want to be known. And if you don't talk to people in the language that they understand around the services that they're looking for at the right time, you're just shotgunning. And I think as our industry goes forward, we're going to all have to be really good at rifle shots. Dave, I notice this about you. You may not even notice about you yet, but based on what I know about you, here's something that I know that you're going to at least be curious about, potentially interested in. And as you are ready for that, and as we talk about that, I have a solution that will solve that problem. And so I think people just expect to be known. And when there's a clear difference between a cold call and a relationship call. Even though you may not have talked to that person in 5 years or ever, because they might be in your database and there might be a past LO involved that's no longer with your company. Well, that customer is still your company's obligation to serve. So this is one of those strategies, Dave, that you're embarking on that will help us serve them better.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think the more value we can create for a consumer, the better. So let's close out with a question, because I always say, hey, leadership is changing the world. We live on mobile devices, and it is changing the world. But leadership, the decision making that you make as a leader, and then once you've made a decision, how you make that decision right. So one thing I've noticed is you create a lot of content. You do videos for your sales force. You're active on LinkedIn. Where you're telling people what you believe, and you're telling people how you think. Could you just give us your rhythms, all the things you're doing as a COO, a guy who's looking to improve the performance of the people that you serve, retain the people you serve, look for more people. What are the rhythms that you have? Because I think it's changed. What a COO or a head of production did 5 years ago to be an attractive leader is different today. So what are you doing?
I think there are 5 or 6 different things that we're very intentional about. One is every single month we invite kind of an all-company development program. We bring a speaker in. It's maybe one of us, but these are typically high-profile, high-value speakers that talk about a variety of different things, from how to be better in the mortgage industry to mental health, and equipping you with how to handle a lot of situations around mental health and other kind of current events. And so we've been doing that for years, and we've got some pretty dynamic folks on that panel. Second, I do try to communicate via email thoughts and belief systems every single day. Maybe I get 3 to 5 times a week, but it's been really important for the last probably 2 years. I've been doing that, maybe 2.5, to where as we grow as an organization and we're more spread out, there was a day that 20 years ago that I knew everybody.
Right.
Well, if I can't know everybody, I at least need them to know me. And I share my thoughts. I'm pretty vulnerable. I share my story. I'm just kind of putting out there lessons that I've learned by living life, and putting those and framing them in a way that potentially could help others and connects me to the team. That's been an extremely valuable part of what we do. We do kind of video calls every month with all of our new employees. We're not in front of all of these people in every market every month, but as a leadership group, I like to sit and have a video call, kind of taking an hour with 15, 30 people at a time, going through stuff, just having fun, getting again, keeping it light, getting to know people, evangelizing culture and beliefs. At the end of the day, we all have our companies that feel like they have a great culture. And one of our jobs as a leader is to continue to evangelize that culture, and not just, evangelizing the culture, but establishing what we want out of our team. What are the right behaviors? What are the expected results? What's the mindset that's going to make you a great fit for Churchill? Right? It may not be a great fit for someone else, but we need to define what that looks like. And as you do more of that, it opens up a lot of trust. And when you have trust, it opens up communication of ideas. And when you have great communication of ideas, you actually have more things to execute on. And when you have the trust that with your team and that relationship, you're better in terms of adoption, because they trust that you're working for their behalf. So that's a handful of just kind of structural things that we make sure that we are doing on an ongoing basis. Plus, we do have video coaching from various coaches that are designed for the entire company that we put out. It's about a 20-minute coaching session twice a month. And so our entire team is being fed once a month in a live session, twice a month in recorded sessions, daily in written and other communication. And anytime we have something to communicate, we try to do that not just in an email, but I'll do videos all day long. One of the most important things that we can be as leaders is seen. And so, we do a lot of unscripted videos. And the best part is we share all the bloopers, because we can do some pretty stupid things on video when nobody's looking. And our videographer team, they're so good at capturing those and putting them together in a blooper reel, which makes us connect too. I mean, all of those things are pretty intentional about just simply connection, because we have an algorithm on influence. We're influencing our team. And this is the same in sales. This is the same in leadership. This is the same in your family. You first have to connect with the heart, and then you challenge and inspire the mind, and then you get to influence people. Skipping that process, any step in that process, simply gets you to where you're legislating change, and that rarely works as good as influencing change.
So that was so powerful. I do want to call out something that you guys do a great job of. Anyone listening to this, is that when you're onboarding new people, that is a tremendous opportunity to get them to do things your way. Mm-hmm. Churchill does a great job of leveraging Mortgage Coach in the onboarding process and really getting people hooked at that onboarding process. All of our best adoption clients, again, this is a company that has over 70% of their loan officers using, 100% use it through an integration, yep. But 70% of their loan officers do it, they create their own TCAs. And that's incredible. They also do a great job of always sharing case studies. Here we are, I don't know how many years since of our partnership, and you're still like, when there's something and there's a success story within your platform, you're amplifying it. You're thoughtfully putting your color on it. And as a leader, you're pushing it out there. So I just want people to take that from you, because I think you do a really quality and consistent job of doing that. And that's part of what makes you such a great partner and friend at adopting. So last question, because, this is the Mortgage Coach channel. If you could just, why do you guys love Mortgage Coach, and how important is Mortgage Coach when you think of all the technology you have? Where do we rate in the value and importance category, and why are you such a good partner?
As it relates to our engagement with the borrowers and the families that trust us with advice on their mortgage, it is the single most important tool that we embed within our strategy. We have a saying of leaving people better for the encounter. When you have any interaction with another human being, is an opportunity to leave them better off than you found them. And if you have tools at your disposal that will speak to people in better ways and leave them better off with the advice that you give than not using it, how dare you choose not to use it? And that's kind of how I look at Mortgage Coach. If we have something in our arsenal that will help people, but we're either too stubborn or lazy to use it, shame on us. It's a better tool. It's a better way of presenting the mortgage and the mortgage options. And quite frankly, if done right, it triggers the most important part of that engagement with that family, which are better questions. Most families, most people getting a home loan don't really know what questions to ask, don't really know what questions, to follow up on. And using a Mortgage Coach, specifically the Edge Live, allows you to design a conversation around great questions, because quality of your result and the quality of your answer is directly related to the quality of your questions. And Mortgage Coach is a facilitator in that process. So I'm bought in.
Yeah, well, I know that, bro. I thank you for the time to do this. Anyone listen to this, I am looking for more Mortgage Coach executives to interview. If you are one or you know one and you want to have a 30-minute chat around leadership and technology and the future of the mortgage space, let me know. I want to do, I don't know how often, but at least once a month, interviews like this with people that I know are doing a great job as leaders. They're doing a great job with technology. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure your loan officers are tuned into it. This is a channel that's dedicated to turning mortgage professionals into the single most valuable advisor that a consumer ever had. So if you want your loan officers to be that valuable consumer, make sure that they watch videos on our YouTube channel, make sure they subscribe to it, and would love to help you out. Well, Matt, thank you for the time you've committed to this, brother. I appreciate it and look forward to seeing you. Is it next month? I'm going to be facilitating some type of a leadership retreat there.
Looking
I look
forward
forward to
that.
seeing you next month in the real world.
And Dave, thank you for being a leader that exemplifies the value that you can get by simply focusing on helping others be better. Mortgage Coach and Dave Savage have done that for decades now, and it's just awesome to be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Take care, my friend.
All right.
This is